Got us here, and today I'm working on my smoker. We are going to make smoked brisket with this giant bad boy right here. We're going to use sweet heat, we're going to use some black pepper, some Himalayan pink salt, and then we are using black cherry to smoke it. I think so too. Neighborhood's wild. I'm going to take some of the wood chips, and I've got a little bit of water here in my magic bucket. And the wood chips need to soak, and we need to trim the brisket. So I'm going to soak these while we trim this. Brisket sometimes has this big chunk of really super hard fat. It's not soft like this is. It gets really, really super hard. So we're going to get rid of that. And this is actually pretty lean in terms of brisket, believe it or not. This big coating of fat is going to taste pretty good, so we don't want to get rid of all of it. But I do like to get rid of some of the extra. There's no rules on this, you guys. You can really kind of do what you want. And I just lost my spice rub off the edge of the table. Better go get it. So, I'm going to use sweet heat, but I'm using it in the industrial size, 5-pound bag. And I'm also using it in my own personal container of the 5-pound bag. So, I offload that into a container. We're going to mix this with a little bit of stuff, so I'll show you how we're going to do this. Let's flip this baby over and just see what the other side looks like. See what we've got going on here. That's some more hard fat. So we'll get rid of some of that, not all of it. And then yeah, there's a little bit right in here, but you know what? I don't know. Yeah, I can just basically I'm taking some off the outside, because it really isn't going to, it's not going to enhance the brisket. And like I said, there's no rules to this. Do what you want. You want to leave it all on there, leave it all on there. No big deal. We're going to start with salt and pepper. I am adding this, and I know you might be asking yourself, why are you adding something to your barbecue rub? Well, I'm adding something to my barbecue rub because straight up with the brown sugar, this is good, but I think beef really likes black pepper, and brisket in Texas, if you're in Texas, they just use salt and pepper. So we're going to do salt and pepper and sweet heat. So I'm put some fresh ground pepper. And yes, I could pre-mix this ahead of time, but I didn't. So here we are. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and do one side with everything. Got salt. A big piece of meat. Don't be shy with the salt. You're totally fine with that. And I'll go ahead and do, because I've got the salt in my hand, I might as well do that. Forgot to put the sweet heat on the other side, darn it. Hang on here, gotta do that. So, you see we're putting a lot of this. This has salt, this has black pepper, garlic, cayenne, pepper flakes, brown sugar. Because I do like my brisket a little bit on the sweet side. We're going to get this everywhere, including all over the table. But if you have a big roasting pan, you can use that to do this in, and it kind of contains it a little bit so you don't end up feeding the neighborhood cats and dogs as they cruise around. All right. More on the other side. This is the same exact technique that I use for ribs and pork shoulder, only with pork shoulder I don't add any additional spices. I just use this straight up. And when I'm doing ribs, I actually add brown sugar. Okay, all cleaned up. Now I can use my pepper mill again. Now normally I would just have some ground pepper in the house, and something like brisket, I don't know that you really notice the fresh ground pepper. This is actually going to be on here for a long time, you guys. So it's going to go on the smoker, and it's going to be on it all night. Let's make some magic. This is where the smoke comes from. I don't know if you guys can hear the sizzling. I'm just tossing them in here. Please do not laugh at my smoker. This was a gift from a friend of mine, and I don't have a big yard, so I don't have room for like a full-on industrial awesome smoker. I have this little guy, my little red smoker. In hours, this is going to smell like just absolutely the best smoked meat flavor. Oh, it's the one thing I miss about doing competition barbecue is that smell when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and all the meat's been smoking all night. And it goes from just smelling like a smoker to smelling like meat. Woo! Okay. Throwing the big bad boy brisket on here. Oh, let's kind of curl them up a little bit. I did have to trim off a little bit to fit, but I guess I didn't trim off quite enough. Okay, let's take a peek. It's been 5 hours. We got quite a ways to go. That looks good. It smells incredible. I can't even tell you. Oh my gosh. All right, I am going to, I'm going to package these up because it's nighttime. And this is actually in my front yard. And so I'm going to bundle these up and tuck them in the oven because they've now taken on as much smoke as they can take on. And I'm just going to let them very slowly cook overnight. And then I'll pop them back out here later when I want the temperature to come up a little bit and I want the yard to smell awesome. So that'll be it for tomorrow. Low and slow, baby. That's the smokehouse way. And we're going to finish up this brisket that we're cooking. Wow, listen to those birds. They're singing because the brisket is so good. That's exactly what's happening. All right, so get this out of the smoker. So I wrapped this in foil last night. Now, because I'm using an electric smoker, I turned off my smoker, literally, a little while ago. So it makes it a little more easy to control the temperature for sure. There's a lot of liquid in here. This is still pretty heavy. Let's see if we can just flip it into there. There we go. Oh, so see all that liquid that's in there? All that needs to go in the trash. Okay, so I was gonna do burnt ends with brown sugar and butter, but I can't. This is too cooked. It's falling apart. If I try to do that, I'm gonna end up with shredded beef. I'd rather have some slices to give everybody. So I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna wrap this back up in some more foil, and it's just gonna hang out until we're ready to eat.